he got asked about Tulsi Gabbard. And the reporter, the journalist said, there are foreign allies who are very nervous about sharing intelligence with her. And he said, oh, I don't know. I'm surprised to hear it. I heard that for the first time the other day. I mean, I think she's a great American. I think she's got tremendous common sense. This woman with tremendous common sense, Tulsi Gabbard, went to Syria, met with Assad, legitimized him as a member of Congress, then came back here and advocated for him. You're telling me this woman went over there, came back and advocated for him, and she's got common sense? Our foreign allies are right to be nervous about sharing intelligence with her.
Well, she's a weird one because she has so many characteristics that you would think that everyone who's a progressive would want as a president. She is a veteran who twice served overseas, twice deployed. She's been a veteran for a long time congresswoman. She's from Hawaii. She's Hawaiian. You would say she's a woman of color.
They say she's a woman of color.
She's a very articulate, rock-solid woman, and they've tried to find a bunch of dirt on her, and they can't. They don't know what to do.
What truly erupts when the unfiltered, often fiery commentary of a popular daytime television show collides head-on with a politician's reputation, igniting a multi-million-dollar legal firestorm that no one saw coming. This isn't merely a hypothetical scenario, it's the explosive reality that unfolded. At the heart of this media maelstrom was Tulsi Gabbard, a political figure who consistently defied easy categorization, finding herself squarely in the crosshairs of The View. And watching intently from the sidelines, with his own brand of incisive commentary, was the undisputed king of podcasting, ready to share his take with millions.
And we'll get to that. I want to start with something that I think is also important about facts, because recently on your show here...
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out.
You want me to ask you the question?
No, look, some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that.
Tulsi Gabbard herself was never a simple personality to pin down within the political spectrum. Her journey was marked by an independent streak that often saw her veering away from conventional party lines, making her a subject of both fascination and fierce debate. This unique positioning set the stage for an unusual public trajectory.
Yeah, did you watch the episode where Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said?
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy. They have no idea. These people have never read, like, a book.
And there's versions of it.
Her resume was undeniably compelling. A military veteran who had completed multiple deployments overseas, a dedicated congresswoman representing Hawaii for a significant period, and a figure often highlighted, sometimes controversially, as an articulate woman of colour. These weren't just biographical details. They were foundational to her public image.
Because she is a strong woman. She is a person who served overseas twice.
I want to let your viewers know exactly who I am.
All right.
Set the record straight. I am a patriot. I love our country. I am a strong and intelligent woman of color, and I have dedicated almost my entire adult life to protecting the safety, security, and the freedom of all Americans in this country. It was the attacks on 9/11.
We're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing.
Yet this very distinctiveness seemed to generate a palpable unease in certain influential circles. Whispers grew into reports, suggesting that some foreign allies harboured genuine nervousness, allegedly being very nervous about sharing intelligence with her. She was, in many aspects, an unconventional contender, drawing both ardent support and intense, sometimes suspicious scrutiny.
Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why,
I mean, you're on Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
Well, Hillary Clinton started it, and then you shot back at her, boy. You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier. Because of the attacks on 9/11, I enlisted in the military to go after and defeat and destroy the evil that visited us on that day. I've served now for over 16 years, deployed twice to the Middle East during the height of the war, where every single day I saw firsthand the terribly high human cost. That's why I ran for Congress.
On the opposing side stood The View, a daytime television institution, a veritable juggernaut in the media landscape. With its panel of famously outspoken hosts, the programme had meticulously built an empire on dissecting current events, often through what critics scathingly described as half-baked takes, and fiercely defended polarising personal opinions.
She might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
So
really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. I've served as a member of Congress now for almost 7 years, receiving high-level national security and intelligence briefings, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, working to ensure the safety and security of the people of this country. This is why I'm running for president, to continue that commitment of service.
But when the show's formidable sights zeroed in on Tulsi Gabbard, the nature of the commentary took a dramatically sharper, more severe turn. Suddenly, damning terms like traitor, Russian asset, and useful idiot were being broadcast across national television, hurled with conviction.
Saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
These were not mere political disagreements or light criticisms of her policy stances. The gravity of these claims was immense, moving far beyond typical political sparring and deep into the territory of outright character assassination, publicly dismantling her integrity before millions of viewers. The weight of these accusations was undeniable. They weren't fleeting insults that could be easily dismissed or quickly forgotten. They were damaging labels, meticulously designed to stick, striking directly at the very core of who she professed to be and the service she claimed to represent.
The View has to be, if you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin's
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say.
Gabbard attempted to push back against this rising tide of serious accusations. She made direct efforts to defend her name and correct the public record, even appearing on The View itself, ready to refute their claims directly to the very hosts making them. Eyewitness accounts and widely circulated clips from that memorable on-air encounter painted a vivid picture of an incredibly tense and charged exchange. Host Joy Behar was reportedly seen panicking and visibly scrambling through her notes as Gabbard systematically and calmly dismantled the narratives being presented against her.
The culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stop looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing, and I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side, and if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do, and no one's critically thinking about this.
However, it soon became painfully clear that a single television appearance, one moment of televised, often chaotic debate, was highly unlikely to undo the widespread damage or effectively silence the persistent chorus of condemnation. A crucial breaking point had been reached. Mere words were proving insufficient. Then the news detonated, hitting the media world with the force of an unexpected explosion. Tulsi Gabbard had officially filed a lawsuit. This was no minor legal skirmish. It was a staggering $50 million legal offensive, aimed squarely at the foundations of The View's freewheeling, often controversial on-air commentary.
Show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her, and they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show.
The shockwaves were immediate and palpable, reverberating throughout the industry. For years, many had privately grumbled or publicly criticised the perceived recklessness of some daytime talk show rhetoric, but few, if any, had ever dared to take such a direct, audacious, and financially significant legal route.
Worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Gabbard's approach to this confrontation was notably methodical and strategically calculated. There were no impulsive, fiery social media rants, no public emotional meltdowns. Instead, she arrived on the legal battlefield armed with receipts, legal counsel, and unwavering composure, transforming her deeply felt grievances into a formal, actionable, and formidable challenge. As news of this legal earthquake began to spread, Joe Rogan, a titan of the podcasting realm and a perennial vocal skeptic of mainstream media narratives, watched the unfolding drama with what could only be described as unconcealed delight. For him, this was not just another fleeting celebrity spat. It felt like a moment of profound vindication. He had, for a long time, openly criticised shows like The View, memorably and caustically dubbing the programme a rabies-infested henhouse, and a glaring symbol of what he termed intellectual decay in public discourse. The lawsuit seemed to confirm his long-held suspicions. Hearing of Gabbard's decisive legal action, Rogan was reportedly laughing his way through the mess, viewing it as an almost inevitable consequence of what he consistently characterised as systemic media malpractice. He didn't just offer a passing chuckle from the sidelines. He seized the moment. Rogan used his massive platform to dissect, critique, and, in his unsparing view, expose the perceived arrogance and detachment from accountability that he felt characterised such powerful media platforms. His pointed commentary wasn't just about one isolated lawsuit. It formed part of a broader, scathing indictment of a media culture he believed had become dangerously flawed. Rogan, alongside many critics who echoed his sharp sentiments, began to deconstruct what they saw as The View's operational formula for content. take a current event, add a generous spoonful of ignorance, stir vigorously in personal bias, and then serve lukewarm to a largely unsuspecting audience. The show, in their critical eyes, had devolved into a safe space for unfounded accusations dressed up as moral outrage. It was a place where the sheer conviction of the delivery, the strategically timed dramatic pauses, and the overall volume often appeared to matter far more than the factual basis or intellectual rigour of the claims being made. A stark, often jarring, and frequently commented upon contrast existed. The host's authoritative, almost infallible pronouncements on incredibly complex global and domestic issues, versus what critics alleged was a demonstrably superficial, sometimes entirely absent, genuine understanding of those very topics. This legal challenge threatened to finally pull back the curtain. The lawsuit quickly transcended the confines of a simple legal dispute between a politician and a TV show, morphing into something far more significant, what some commentators aptly described as cultural dynamite or a cultural Rorschach test. It became a high-stakes examination of the media responsibility in an age defined by hyper-partisan rhetoric and rapid-fire information. The underlying message, powerfully amplified by influential voices like Rogan's, was becoming unmistakably clear. Reckless on-air statements and sustained, damaging smear campaigns might no longer be dismissible as mere annoying background noise. They were visibly evolving into tangible legal and significant financial liabilities, a warning to all. The drama continues to unfold, a complex narrative with ongoing legal twists, but its initial impact was undeniably profound. Tulsi Gabbard drew an unyielding line in the sand, making a bold and costly stand against a media behemoth. The View found its characteristic commentary thrust under an unwelcome and intense legal microscope, while Joe Rogan, from his influential perch, amplified the compelling narrative of a much-needed, perhaps long overdue, reckoning. This lawsuit, regardless of its ultimate outcome, served as a significant warning shot, a potent reminder that in the cacophony of modern media, words possess immense power, and sometimes they come attached to a very substantial and very public price tag.